100 community organization and partnership are convening in Anaheim to exchange information, to connect, and to learn about funding and resources available in California.
So each year they would do different funding levels. There's some year that is $50,000 and there's some year that is $150,000. But then this year, unfortunately, all the federal funding has been gone out, so we got zero. But that's kind of the story of the funding.
Yeah, so the opportunities that we're presenting vary by region. So some are region-specific funding opportunities, others are kind of these broader opportunities. Really kind of the core of the opportunity that we're presenting at each convening is a tutorial of our California State Library grant portal, which is where community-based organizations and other organizations can access any state funding opportunity that's open at that time. And apply for those opportunities. So it can be a number of different opportunities depending on the type of organization, the focus of their work, and the communities that they serve, and how that matches any of the funding opportunities that are posted on our portal.
Funding, we've been hit quite hard. As a national organization, we rely heavily on federal funding, and that's been cut almost 90% across the board of our branches. We are struggling and finding challenges right now to maintain our branches where we have programs in the past for the last 10, 15 years that were federally funded, and we don't see it coming back anytime soon. So right now, most of our branches are relying on state funding, which has been somewhat impacted, not a lot, but because federal funding has been impacted, there's been more competitive among community-based organizations in California.
And so what we're trying to do is kind of bridge the gap between information gaps to make sure that our community organizations and partners know about these other opportunities throughout the state. But this is the first time that we've been able to plan a really great in-person connection moment. So really the time is now because of our new agency, because of the moment that we're in, and because of people's desire to really gather together in person, meet and collaborate and take advantage of some of those opportunities.
Been very challenging. We're applying for every local or state grant that is rolling out. We're looking at foundation grants or philanthropy grants, banks, anything that has any type of funding for the community.
My experience is that English is actually a big barrier, because even for native speakers to be able to navigate what's out there, the system out there, and how you can even fill out the form appropriately in order to get resources, that is a challenge. And that is something that I noticed that many Vietnamese communities, among the services that they do, is to help people understand what's out there for them and how they can apply for them. So even though there are resources out there, a lot of time it's about the barrier that making it difficult for people to just go on the website or even to visit these offices and also ask for help. And you'll be surprised to know that there are many programs out there that are underutilized, and that's because people don't know that they exist. And people also don't really trying to explore what's out there, and particularly they fear that if it's not there, then they probably not qualify. So it's a combination of many things, but basically there are resources out there that people should consider and try to find.
I personally worry about that. I personally worry about what's happening to the people I represent as the federal government cuts back. I'm very worried about healthcare. I'm very worried about, for example, food support. What are we doing? Is we're trying to do exactly what's happening here today, is try to identify organizations where we can put them together, where they can collaborate to deliver services more efficiently with fewer dollars. It's a challenge, but I have confidence in the people in the room that they're going to meet that challenge.
Climate, there's a lot of fear, a lot of anxieties, the government policies, particularly from the federal. People wanted to know if there are still resources and services out there for the communities. So that's the purpose of these regional Connect meeting, is to bring people together, and also having the medias like Lucido Saigon TV to bring these informations to the Vietnamese communities. Now we are in a situation that there's a lot of cuts in programming, but nevertheless, that doesn't mean that if you have need, you should not have access to, or you should not reach out to get more information, because the thing about many of these programs is that it's a lot about supply and demand. If suddenly there's more people from the Vietnamese communities asking questions that I have these help and I need resources to help me and my family, then this program would take notice that they would eventually would try to meet these demands right away. And if not, they would record this information so that they can do planning. And as you know, providing program resources, sometimes it takes some time for policies to develop. But unless people are speaking out and reaching out and asking for resources, then they would not be able to respond.
California is the fifth largest economy in the world, and currently states have about more than $15 billion to fund and to get resources to these communities in the state. This is Titi Mary Tran reporting for Little Saigon TV.